What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to go nuts with the Nutty Titan. I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist, guys. I couldn't resist. Now, I got to say, guys, like aesthetically, I think this is a pretty badass looking uniform. It definitely is growing on me more and more and more as I play with it. We're going to do something a little bit different today than what I normally do because we actually do have the availability of having two different card systems in the game. Well, not card systems, but card decks, right? And I'm going to show you guys what this girl can actually do with just 5% Pierce, which is pretty interesting to show you just how strong she is, especially for you newer players. Now, the caveat to the character, right, the elephant in the room is the fact that this character will cost a minimum of 20 American dollars, which is pretty unfortunate. And you're going to have to ask the question whether or not is it really worth it to spend $20 for this character? Well, I think it's just going to depend on how much you're going to love Squirrel Girl and how much you probably would love Thanos, because in all honesty, guys, she is a squirrel version of Thanos. That's pretty much what she is, and she looks freaking cool. Like, I gotta say, like, beefy legs, I mean, which she should, right? She's a Squirrel Girl, right? She's looking pretty tight, right? And you guys can see that I got 24,000 physical attack. Now, with my card deck 1, you can see the stats that I have, right? Card deck 1 is where I have 22% Pierce, right? You can see I have 185 critical damage, I have 50% critical rate, right? Ignore defense is max, but whenever we go to card deck 2, I have 169 critical damage, right? My attack speed isn't quite maxed out. My critical rates are at 46%, but my ignore defense is still maxed out. Well, I have no Urus on this character. Guys, we're just going to do, like, she's going to have the weakest build pretty much almost possible. So you really get an idea of how strong she is, because unfortunately I can only do a tier 2 review because I don't have books for her. I can't level her up just yet. I can't tier 3 her just yet. Now, her passive, the increased chain hit damage by 15% when attacking, is awesome. The guaranteed dodge helps her survivability. The burn is nice. Right? This second skill, guys, is really amazing in regular world boss ultimate because the paralysis does apply to your bosses. You know, and for some players that, you know, we don't care because we just play World Boss Legend. But if you're a newer player and you are a spender, you know, you might find this useful because as you'll see in the gameplay, she can pretty much lock down opponents and just beat the crap out of them. It's pretty nice in regular World Boss. Not World Boss Legend because the paralysis won't work there. So the third skill does give her a 20% heal, and it does have a damage proc, really amping up her damage. And she is very, very proc friendly, which is nice. And her fourth skill does give her an all attack buff by 40% and critical rate by 30%. So my critical rate is going to be pretty much maxed out. This lasts for 6 seconds every time we do our rotation. And then the fifth skill gives her a damage accumulation, though plus 1% is nice. And then the all defense down is actually really good as well. For a regular world boss, it helps in her damage. Now, she does get an extra 30% increase of physical attack, and she does get an increased basic damage of universal attacks by 25%, which also will help her in the World Boss Legends. And increased skill damage is nice. Her leadership is trash, and the girl is super, super easy to play. You can literally go 5-4-3. I mean, it's just simple, guys. 5-4-3, and then the 2. If you want to throw in the 1, you can, right? The 1's a partial iframe, but the second skill is a full iframe, and it has paralysis. So, I mean, this is pretty cool. Like, the 5th skill, like, the squirrel's coming out, you know, it's got, like, the Proxima effect, throwing down a spear, right, from Thanos. The 4th skill, right? The fireballs are going to come flying down. Love this skill, man. So cool. And then the third skill, she zooms across all over the place. And this is a full iframe. And what that means, guys, is whenever you're doing this in regular world boss, the boss just sits there, doesn't know what to do. They're just kind of like, da-da-da-da-da, I don't know what to do. Right? So you literally lock them in place by doing the 5-4-3, you do the full iframe, and then you hit the second skill afterwards. It literally looks like this, 5-4-3, right? You let it finish out with the explosion at the very end, right? And then you go into the 2. Once that explosion happens, you paralyze the opponent, and then you can go right back into the 5-4-3. Super, super easy to use. The tier 3 is cool, and you can cancel a tier 3, but I'll talk more about that whenever I do tier 3, because I do plan on tier 3 in this character. I do. Sorry that I cut that off quickly, guys. As far as the rest of her build, she doesn't have any type enhancement. I just got a regular, you know, stage 5 Power Ranger Hulk set on her. I have no artifact. And we're just rocking 140% damage proc with critical damage here, guys. The recovery rate will help her heal a little bit faster. You'll get the same amount of heal, but she'll heal at a faster rate. And then, you know, her uniform is only at normal. And her uniform effect For Thanos, is pretty godly. Now, in certain game modes, this isn't going to be that great because she is a speed villain. In other game modes, it might prove to be useful as far as, using her to buff up Thanos, right? And then she does also get herself a decreased damage C by 20%. And then she also has, when HP is below 30%, applies a self-recovery of 70% of HP, right? So this is really, really great for her survivability on top of having the long iframe. Very, very nice, my friends. But if we pull up the gameplay for her, I'm going to show you guys what she does, which is 5% pierce. This is just 5% pierce, stage 99, no strikers whatsoever, right? No strikers at all, right? Now, I could use Black Cat for leadership, which would actually be better because it would actually amplify her all defense down, but Black Cat is another paywall uniform, and granted, Nutty Titan is a paywall uniform too, but I didn't want to have two paywall uniforms. Try to make it a little bit more free to play, even though it technically never can be because Puppy Titan is not free to play, right? And her damage is very, very good, guys. Honestly, you might be watching this and thinking to yourself, well, this doesn't really look that great. But just remember, guys, this is 5% pierce. This is 170% critical damage. This is with no Urus and a normal uniform. And she just locks the opponent down and just beats him up. It's honestly pretty impressive what she's able to do, right? And this is something that I do like about having the other card set up, is that I can actually see what a newer player would be able to do with whatever characters that I'm testing, right? So you can actually see that, even with 5% pierce, this girl does really, really well as far as her damage, man. I mean, guys, if she had a CTP on her and she had Urus on her, she'd be plowing through this. And I'll show you guys what she can do against this boss with, 22% pierce right after this run. And yeah, it's going to be murder, she wrote. I mean, she's going to destroy the damn thing. And she has really good range with her skills, guys. She doesn't really get canceled out or interrupted very easily, which is pretty nice. It's really sweet, actually. I mean, yeah, girl is destroying. Right now, I missed my proc there, kind of mistimed my skills a little bit, and honestly, that's kind of a noob mistake, really missing your procs with her. It's very easy to keep the proc where it belongs. If you're just a little patient after you do the second skill, right? I actually hit the 5-4 a little too early before I hit the third skill. You just want to make sure your 5-4 and your 3 are all off their cooldowns so you can actually run into them. You can also do a little cheekiness with her as far as all defense down, but I don't really make those videos too much anymore because we have Pierce, right? If you have a bunch of Pierce, you can pretty much destroy this content especially, or really any content for that matter. But yeah, look at her, man. It's just, they can't do anything to her. Nothing at all. She's pretty much destroying it. And considering my build, considering that we're just using 5% Pierce in this particular run, it's really good, right? Over 3 minutes, about 3 minutes and 40 seconds to complete that. That's not bad, guys. Considering with her build, that's pretty good. Now, this run is actually with same team, no strikers, nothing's changed. It's just now my card setup's different. Now we're using 22% Pierce. And watch this. Now with 22% Pierce, obviously you're going to see a huge difference in damage. Plowing like crazy. And this also does show you the difference in between having a good amount of Pierce and not having a good amount of Pierce. My physical attack is virtually the same on both of them. I do have a little bit less on the card setup with 5% Pierce, but they're not that far off from each other. But because of the Pierce difference, you definitely will see a huge, huge difference in damage. It's just astronomical, guys. Really, really crazy difference, right? I mean, it took, 3 minutes and 40 seconds to do, or 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I guess, to do the first run. And look at how fast she's doing this. It's going to take about 1 minute. So she does it over twice as fast with having 22% Pierce, right? And I got caught there, but her passive kicked in, gave me that nice 70% recovery heal. And so I didn't die, which is pretty awesome. That's pretty sweet. Like, I am curious to see how strong she's going to be at tier 3. Now I'm going to show you guys a stage 99 run with having 22% Pierce against Thanos. And Thanos really is, when it comes to World Boss Ultimate, he really is the Kingdom Come. And video was actually really fun for me because I don't play these bosses anymore, and I actually kind of miss them every once in a while. And the thing to remember, guys, especially against Thanos, in the first 2 phases, her all defense down does get applied. Now, again, I could throw in some cheekiness, use some strikers, which I'm not using here at all, no strikers, but I could use some strikers that offer some extra all defense down, like Weapon Hex, and really start plowing through it. But in the last 2 phases against Thanos, the all defense down gets debuffed. It doesn't work at all. So it's really just her raw damage is actually what's getting it done. But here, we're showing with 22% Pierce that she can absolutely destroy this thing with this weak build. Now, I know that, having all the Pierce really just skews everything so much. And that's why I wanted to show you guys that run against Proxima without having, all that extra Pierce, right? Against Thanos with the 5% Pierce, she can do damage. In all honesty, guys, she does do damage to Thanos, but it's not very much. There's no way she's going to get it clear with just 5% Pierce against stage 99 Thanos. Honestly, I think that's a little too much to expect because even though he isn't a World Boss Legend, and there I missed my proc, even though he isn't a World Boss Legend, guys, he's still a very, very tanky world boss to take down. He still has very, very high defenses and very high HP, and it's not an easy opponent to take down. I mean, I've used Awakened characters here that would take, around this amount of time to be able to do, and she's just a tier 2. And again, with no Urus and with a normal rank uniform and 140% damage proc, she just doesn't have a lot going on in her build. And this really is kind of a testament to how strong she really is. Now, I know a lot of players, this character is really going to put a sour taste in her mouth because she is a paywall. I totally understand that, man. Like spending 20 bucks on this thing, I really question whether or not it's going to be worth it. Obviously, if you're a Squirrel Girl fan, it's going to be worth it to you. Obviously, if you want to be able to buff up Thanos in certain niche game modes, then maybe it'd be worth it for you as well. But I think for a lot of players, probably not, in all honesty. We'll see, time will tell, guys. And she could be an ABX meta. She could replace Green Goblin, but I really don't know. At tier 2, I have no idea. I played her in ABX, but honestly, guys, it's just not a very good gauge to go by as far as whether or not I think she's going to be stronger than Green Goblin. I don't know if she will be. I doubt it, but maybe. I haven't seen any videos out there or anything letting me know if she really is or not. But even if she is, would it be worth it spending $20 on her? Again, it's just going to depend on you, right? If she would be an ABX meta, then, obviously players would, probably buy her just because they want to have those competitive scores. But, I mean, Green Goblin on some accounts can already max out the score. So, there again, do you really need her? I mean, it's kind of it's one of those things. It's really more of a glorified uniform to have. But I mean, with 22% Pierce, guys, she was able to do this in 3 minutes and 10 seconds against Thanos. That is a very, very good time. That's actually a really good time to be able to get that clear against him, even with having 22% Pierce, but especially with having the build that I have. I mean, seriously, it really is a testament to how strong she is. She's got a lot of power. She's definitely a strong character. But, as far as buying the uniform or not, it really will depend on you for the reasons that I explained earlier in the video, guys. So let me know what you guys think about the Nutty Titan. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. DD+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.